Okay, another request to talk about a subject that's, well, kind of touchy, but, you know, is rather prevalent or pressing matter of contemporary society, as I understand it. And that is well, it's suicide. And now, I won't speculate into the reasons why, right? I'm not even gonna, fill in the blank. Whatever you feel it is that makes you want to say goodbye, cruel world. I mean, I get it. I get it. Um, I'm not, no one's here to say, well, I have a better reason to commit suicide than you. Like, I'm not going to split frogs' hairs. I'm just going to state a fact. Based on my own experience. Uh, and that means to say that, we signed up with the soul contract. We volunteered. No matter how desperate or crappy or hopeless the reality happens to be, we signed up for it. And there's trillions and trillions and trillions of souls waiting to incarnate on this planet, but they all had to take a space in the line behind you, right? Because you're here now. And so it's a big honor, it's a big privilege to have this life, right? Especially on this beautiful planet Earth. And to just kind of, throw that away is, well, I suppose you could say it's an affront to the Great Spirit who gave you permission to incarnate here, but it's also an affront to yourself. And it might seem like a good way to escape, but in reality, it's not an escape, it's a trap. And I'll see if I can just try to explain this in like layman's terms, or maybe there's some science fiction movie or some, I don't know, video game or something out there that illustrates this, what I'm about to say. But according to our rituals, our belief systems based on, our collective experience, say going all the way up until, say prior to the pre-dynastic Egypt, say, even several thousand years ago, right? Before all the propaganda and the programmings and the just all the mess of it, all the distraction, all the fake science, all the religion and everything, right? Before that, we had a practice. Well, when I say we, let me be real specific, because I'm referring to what we would now call Egypt and or Asia. It's those two countries which are now separated by water and boundaries or frontiers or country names or whatever you call it, but back then it wasn't. And what we used to do, well, is prepare for the death, right? To know that death is always a companion. And rather than try to avoid it, rather than try to like postpone it as long as possible, is to confront it, by way of preparing for it. Meaning to say that any moment, for whatever reason, I could get struck by lightning, fill in the blank, whatever, it doesn't matter your age, right? But just to say that when that moment comes, I am ready for that moment. That means my heart is ready. In Egypt, there was a goddess called Maat, M-A-A-T. And there's a depiction of Maat holding a scale. And, in one side of the scale is a feather, and the other side is, in theory, your heart. And if your heart was not as least as light as a feather, that you could not go into the bardos without recycling, reincarnation, repeat, revolve, try it again. You missed the point. You missed the bullseye. I don't know. Fill in the blank, whatever you want to call it. But this means to say that the objective in this case of my daily life was to walk and talk and present and act in such a way so as to have those good relations. Like we talked about in an earlier video about ancestral words in Lakesh and Matupsum, means to say that whatever the experience is in the skin suit, in the avatar, that when you check out and go into your cosmic midnight hour, that you do so with a heart as light as a feather. It's rhetorical, of course. It means to say that you don't have any emotional baggage that you're dragging with you. Because if you do drag that into the bardos, or trying to navigate through your cosmic midnight hour, it can provide a lot of, dissonance in the field, distraction, deception, vulnerability, fill in the blank. But now, when you take it to another level by committing suicide, I just want to, I don't know, if you are, I don't think anybody listening to me is really, I don't know, I could be wrong. It doesn't feel that anybody listening to me on this channel is feeling suicidal, but perhaps you know someone who is. Perhaps you know someone who's like so chronically depressed and that, you think they might be suicidal, even though they haven't said anything. Share this with them, because it's just a really bad idea, family. It's a really bad idea. You'll get trapped in a I'm trying to find a good way to say this. It's hard. You're going to get trapped in a really dark place. And I don't believe in this heaven and hell concept as it's pitched to us in the Abrahamic religions, or any other religion for that matter. Hell for me is repetition. That would be being here on earth, watching everything revolve around a dysfunctional consciousness loop from decade after decade, century after century, without, ever progressing and learning from our mistakes. But this is like a special kind of hell. And it's just, look. It is not the answer at all. So, if you know anybody who you feel might be suicidal, no, I wouldn't recommend it. Sure wouldn't. Um, Anyhow, I don't know what else to say about that. It's a subject I don't really like to talk about. Um, but someone brought it up. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Stay tuned, family. Ciao for now.